Brexit. What does it mean? Does it really mean Brexit? But more importantly, what does it mean for you? The university's here in the LSU Piazza, so we thought we'd have a chat with them and find out more.
All right, so first up, we're chatting with Carolyn, who's going to talk slightly about some of the international students and how they'll be affected by Brexit. Can you explain more what will happen?
Okay. Thank you. I'm from the international office at the university, and firstly I should say that Loughborough University has a very diverse student community. We have students obviously from the UK, from many countries across the European Union and outside the European Union. So we celebrate this diversity and we always welcome students from across the globe. So that's a key point. For any students, whether you're a current Loughborough student or a prospective student, we do have a section on the International Office website called Brexit FAQs, and in this way what we will do is we have information about any potential changes to tuition fees, students' visas, opportunities to work, etc. So there's a full section on the website which we encourage students to look at, and that will be www.elborough.ac.uk/international.
Let's get a student perspective. So I'm here with the international chair for GERO and Darcy, who is our vice president. So we just heard from the international office. So from an international student perspective, what do you think students are most worried about? What questions do you think they will be coming to ask?
I think a big thing is fee status, because a lot of people will be worried about how their fee status will change. A massive thing as well is employment afterwards, because there are quite a few people that want to stay in the UK for a bit longer and are actively looking for placements or employments now. So I think those are going to be like the main source of questions about how that will change with Brexit.
For GERO, who is our international chair, talk very much about international students not really being aware of how their fees will be affected, and that being what they're most worried about. So should they be worried? I mean,
no, because if you're a student here already, then your tuition fees won't change over the time you're here. So you'll get the same fees as you would if you were a UK student, if you're a European student. Because you're already registered, that will be the same throughout your entire course.
It sounds like obviously there's a lot the students can do to make sure that they're kind of looked after, but it's a lot to do, especially when you're a student perhaps in a new country for the first time. So when they need assistance, where are they going? Where are they looking? Who do they come to?
I think they come to us. So we offer individual appointments with students for maybe 45 minutes, an hour, but they can come to us certainly, and we can give them advice, help them with their settlement status applications if it's an EU student. If it's a UK student who wants to just talk to us about maybe going abroad for work placement or Erasmus exchange, that's perhaps something they can come and discuss with us as well. And of course, for all our international students who are here outside the EU, they can also come and chat to us, and we'll give them whatever support and help they need.
And you were saying earlier that you organise this on behalf of the exec to get to the students. So what was the thinking behind it? What message did you kind of want to get out there to the students?
Well, I think organising things like this is really, really important for our international community to be able to ask questions and get their concerns answered. We noticed last year, myself and Anna, the education officer, that there wasn't much going on about Brexit, and obviously it was a high concern for some of our students, so we decided to organise this year. We've got various people, international office, the careers office, people coming down from finance, all here to discuss those issues with students and make sure that they have the opportunity to ask those questions in time for Brexit.
Well, we're joined with VC Bob, and he's graced us with his presence.
Ed, how are you? It's nice to see you.
I'm all right. Thank you very much for asking. It's very, very nice. What are your views, and are you prepared as a Vice-Chancellor for Brexit when it comes, if it comes?
So what I can say is we're doing our best here to support both staff and all of the students. I think one of the real issues at the moment is, no one's really quite sure what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. The most important thing we can do is reassure people that whatever sort of Brexit we have and whenever it happens, I'll give absolutely everybody who's a member of the university community a guarantee that we will do our absolute utmost to support them wherever they come from in the EU if they are not UK nationals.
Okay, and I'm speaking to a few other people. We've found out that for the next 12 months certainly, and hopefully for the 12 months after that, so up to 2021, everything should stay relatively normal and the same for EU students. But after that, it's no man's land. Have the university got any plans for what could be happening in 2021?
So, for the university, there are 3 sets of issues. Number 1 is not just with students, but with staff. What are the issues around either rights to come and study and rights to remain? And you're right, in the immediate future, that's fairly clear. If you go out 18 months or 2 years, it's not. So our role there is to have as stronger influence as we can on government, whichever political party is in power at that point in time, to make sure that when they're making the decisions, they're in the best interests of people who are at this university. The second one is, of course, we have a very strong research base, and some of our students are PhD students. And it's to ensure that if they have funding for their research, be they PhD students or staff, from European Union funding sources, we can either continue to be part of those funding sources, or the British government will guarantee that they'll back them up. And the final one, which is important, is that just think about the number of students who go on placement. And many of those students go on placement in other countries in Europe. And what I've got to do is ensure that the freedom and mobility allow those students to both go on placements in other European countries, but also they will continue to get paid, because what I'm not having is Loughborough students used as cheap labour, either in this country or anywhere else in the world.
Oh, very noble. Very noble. Good. A very, very good point to make. And I think you covered most of the things that are going to happen, certainly in the future.